Sup nerds, I'm Tom. Today we're going to talk about the first expansion for Tapestry called Plans and Ploys, or PP for short, which is funny. What this expansion adds is more stuff, but not necessarily a lot of new mechanics. Like, you do get more of these, like, civilization mats, I think they're called, or I always just call them special player powers. The rulebook is right here. I could look up what these are called so I'd know for certain, but I'm not going to do that. But they also give you more Tapestry cards and a couple more things. So the only real new mechanic that it adds are these, they're called landmark buildings. I know that because I'm looking at it right here. Every player gets dealt one, and there are these little buildings that they can place onto their mat if they do a specific thing. Like, for instance, the TV station. At the end of your turn, if you have at least 3 income buildings of the same type in your capital city, gain this landmark. So it gives players, in addition to their special player power, their civilization, it gives them an extra goal to go towards, an extra thing to do, which is good for newer players, but also bad. Like, I mean, it depends. If you feel like a new player is going to be overwhelmed with rules in general, I wouldn't give this to them. But if they feel like they're going to be overwhelmed with choices and not know which, like, they'll understand the rules, but they can't figure out the strategy and what to go for, well, then this will give them a goal. And that's a good thing. I mean, not even just for new players. Like, everybody would like a way to get more buildings and fill out their grid, can't remember what it's called, a little bit more, especially because a lot of the main ways to get buildings is by bum rushing up the tracks, and maybe you don't want to bum rush up the track, maybe you want to do a little bit on each, and I like it when a game gives you a different strategy instead of, well, everybody is going to do X, so everybody hurry up and do X as best you can. Well, now you can do something a little bit different from X, which is good. But speaking of bum rushing up and getting landmarks, they give you these little tokens that you can put on the spots. So after a thing is taken, you take the token off there to show, okay, this landmark is gone, this landmark is gone. This is a nice addition. I don't think it's all that necessary because I think it's pretty obvious when a landmark thing is gone because it's gone from the mat and it's gone, like you just see cubes are past that. But I guess, there are ways for cubes to go backwards. So, I mean, whatever. I'm not going to complain about this. This is, even if I think this isn't a necessary addition, it's a nice addition, sure thing. You also get 10 new player powers, these civilization boards, and while I haven't seen all of them played yet, a lot of them are really cool and interesting, like the Islanders. Aliens is, I mean, that's just cool in general. And Recyclers is probably my favorite just because that tends to be my strategy, as I really like technology cards, and this one lets you kind of upgrade from level 3 up to level 1 and then use that, recycle the technology, use it again, and you get 5 points when you do that. I mean, that just really feeds into the strategy I like, and that's really fun. And actually, it was kind of the one that was fought over. Like, everybody really wants this one, because I guess a lot of people like technology, so, okay, that's understandable. But you get a bunch here. Now I think your total number of these civilization mats is, like 26 now? That's a lot. And then the last big thing it adds are more Tapestry cards. There's more buildings, more abilities and stuff, which is cool. Engineering, this era, whenever you invent a technology, immediately upgrade it to the middle row and gain the benefit. Okay, so that plus Recyclers is also really cool. I always love when things synergize really well, but also, that's tons of fun for you, but it really sucks when you're the player when nothing just happens to work out. You're just like, I didn't get the cards that work with this, But that notwithstanding. One of the main things that is in here, though, are more trap cards. Now, they're not called trap, but they play like trap cards. Whenever a player is about to conquer you, you can play this to do X. There's even a single double cross card in here, which basically cancels a player's trap card against you. So that's pretty cool. And I like that idea because the idea of having trap cards in general, right, is cool, but since they're all the same, I mean, I guess it's good to know what it does, but I don't know, it's also fun to be unsure. Ooh, I know this player could have a card that will stop me in this way or could stop me in that way. I mean, some of them aren't as bad. Some of them are just like retreat. Okay, so if I play retreat, I back up, and my opponent still gets the territory, but they don't conquer me in terms of the points that they get and whatever for that. Stolen Plans will cancel the other player's trap card and take a Tapestry card from their hand. So that's really dope. Or if you play it as a Tapestry, you get 8 points and you get a technology card, which is really dope. Actually, a lot of these cards, like these cards and just the regular trap cards, I normally think of as almost just really good Tapestry cards to play. Like 10 points can be a lot of points, especially, like early game or whatever. I mean, maybe it's best to play trap cards late game so that way people don't know you don't have one unless you have two really early or something. Whatever. There are also a couple little things. So they do give you a bag for the tiles, which is nice. They give you, there's a couple of, these are solo scenarios. Now, I never really play solo games, so I haven't tried these out, nor do I think I will. I mean, maybe. You never know. But, I mean, it's not my cup of tea, but, hey, those are good. There's also a tile fixed, and there is an errata in here from the first edition. So this, what I actually have here, I know it's not edition, first printing. This is the second printing, so it has an errata already in there for the civilization mats that you get in the main box. And then this one has a fixed space tile and that errata in here. So if you have the first printing, you don't need to I mean, I'm certain you could download stuff from Board Game Geek or whatever if you didn't want to get this, but you don't have to, go buy a new printing or whatever. You just get this expansion, and that fixes the little mistakes that were in this one, which is, again, I think just that one tile and then the errata, which actually, sometimes I don't even play with the errata. I'm just like, no, I want to try out the OP way that it was originally. So now on to my complaints, which honestly, there aren't that much. It's just, I like this expansion. I like Tapestry a lot, so more Tapestry is always good, right? But in my opinion, I tend to enjoy expansions that give you new mechanics and new things to think about more than just expansions that just give you more of the same, right? Now, granted, there are new things in here. These landmark buildings is overall a new mechanic, and having more trap card type things in the Tapestry deck is cool. That is new, right? It's a new gameplay is different now. But I was having a discussion with my friends, and he said, do you just like the mechanics themselves and you want to increase the variability therein, or do you want to change the gameplay completely? He kind of made it sound almost like, oh, if you only want an expansion that changes the gameplay, then you don't like the original game, which I wouldn't necessarily agree with, but at least I see where he's coming from, It's not, again, this type of expansion is not a negative for me in any way. It's just usually the last expansion I would get. Now it's the first expansion that's out for this game. So I'm just saying it's not my favorite type of expansion. But if you love Tapestry, yeah, more of the same is probably going to be good for you, right? But I mean, I'm just saying I hope the second expansion has new stuff, like a 3D board and electronic little things that blow up, and you rip the board up and there's candy inside, something like that. My only actual real complaint, which is very minor, is that the stuff in here doesn't fit in the box if you keep the insert, and the inserts in both of them are really nice, so I kind of want to keep them. I'm just assuming that down the line they're going to come out with a big box expansion for Tapestry like they did for Scythe. Now, I said that when we were talking about my little Scythe, it's like everything in here is, you can fit everything in this box, but it's really packed in there tight. So, I bet you they'll come out with a big box expansion. That I was less certain of. I'm like, yeah, if they keep doing more stuff for My Little Scythe and it sells well, then yeah, I like that game. But this game feels more obvious. This one, it makes more sense that this is going to be, because it's a more grandiose game. It's bigger, it's more serious. My Little Scythe is kind of silly. But this one, like Scythe, and I feel like this one and Scythe are really neck and neck. So this one makes the most sense to have a big box expansion after Scythe. Right? I think Viticulture, there's a deluxe edition for Viticulture or something, but it doesn't really, I don't know if it's necessarily warranted a big box expansion, a big box yet. But anyways, enough speculation. If any of what I was talking about in this video sounds interesting to you, I'm going to put a purchase link to the base game and this expansion in the description box down below. Go ahead and get yourself a copy. And hey, while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored.